I'm very pleased that you are having this hearing and apologize for my tardiness. One of the responsibilities of a first-year senator is to preside from time to time on the floor, and that's what kept me from hearing your opening remarks. But a very similar debate, at least among the senators, was beginning to unfold on the floor of the Senate earlier today as I was presiding. And the debate on the continuing funding resolution was beginning. And as I mentioned, I'm a first-year senator, so I just got off a campaign trail in the last year. And I remarked over and over again during that time in the state of Wisconsin about just how hard the people in my state are working to recover from the devastating recession, deep recession, and how much harder they have to work because of these manufactured fiscal crises. You know, so many working two jobs, so many happy to have gainful employment at all, but it's not what they were making before the recession hit. And I mean, it's incredible grit that I'm seeing. And I wanted to come here and see us in the Congress match that grit with a commitment to get out of these situations like the one that's unfolding right now. You know, I think certainty and predictability and responsibility are also American values that we've got to return to. And so against that backdrop and against the commitment that I made to fight to strengthen the middle class, regrow the middle class, has taken such a battering in recent years. I wonder if you can talk a little bit, if you feel expert enough to talk about how this impacts, this uncertainty, the prospect of a shutdown, the prospect of a default, the continuing weight of the sequester impacts the middle class, perhaps as distinct from the top 1% and the working poor. Especially, I just ask that in light of seeing how hard my constituents are working to recover from such a difficult economic situation. Why don't we go from right to left and start with you?
Thank you, Senator. You know, it isn't hard to see how a compromise could be reached. The president would have to give up tax increase. The Tea Party would have to give up the end of Obamacare. That would be the beginning of a compromise. That's not so hard to realize.
I guess I want to know, in terms of the impact of a shutdown or a default, how it affects especially our struggling middle class.
Not terribly if it's short.
Dr. Stone?
It weakens an economic recovery that's already been weak and is not delivering for the people you're asking about.
Just to be specific, if the government shuts down, you can't get an FHA loan. Many middle-income households are very reliant on the FHA in the current context to get a loan. You can't do it if the government shut down. You can't get a student loan. Many middle-income households are desperately reliant on student loans to send their kids to college. You can't do that. You can't get an SBA loan, a small business loan, and many middle Americans own small businesses, right? In Wisconsin, many small businesses are key to the middle class. Courts would be disrupted. Travel and tourism destinations would be disrupted. You know, it's in the grand scheme of things, no big deal, but in the context of the hardship that these folks have been struggling with, you know, it adds up, right? And, you know, I think the uncertainty hurts so much in the current context because we've been through the ringer, right? I mean, the recession has been debilitating psychologically on everybody, and we're nervous and we're scared and we get spooked by even little things. And so if we start talking about defaulting on the debt, if we start contemplating the possibility of not making Social Security payments, Medicare Medicaid payments, even if it's not going to happen, and I can't imagine you would allow that to happen. I just can't see that. That hurt. That scares people. And again, you know, because they've been put through so much. So, you know, why go down that path when at the end of the day we know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to raise the debt limit and fund the government. There's no other option.